Hey everybody, happy December 23rd. It's my least favorite day of the year, is what it is. But I'm here, I'm alive. I have already survived driving to Plano today to drop off a job that took me until 2:30 in the freaking morning to finish.
But it's done.
But it's done, delivered, and paid for.
Woohoo!
Also, I have no lipstick on, so I'm here. I'm only 48 minutes late for the tutorial stream. I'm going to count that as a win, considering when it is in the holiday season. So this is the second of our 3 tutorials this week that are focused on last minute gifts that you can hopefully make with what's lying around your house. For all of my bookworms out there, this is our ribbon bookmark. This is actually a really great project because you can use literally anything on the ends of this. So what I have on my sample is I've got 2 repurposed vintage earring parts. Literally, this was the top of an earring. You can see it was a clip-on earring. Okay, so literally I chopped off the clip, so the clip would have been here and contacted there, and then something would have hung down from this. Okay, I chopped off the clip, sanded it down, and Bob's your uncle, there's a pendant, and then this was the bottom of a vintagey. Nope, I'm a rotten stinking liar. This was the top of a vintagey earring as well. I do, in fact, have a shirt on. That was one of my major achievements. Showering and curling my hair was not one of my major achievements this morning, so let's just kind of ignore how weird my head looks right now. But yes, I did actually there's nothing in, literally, there's nothing in there. I did actually manage to get a shirt on. Oh. I was texting Heather this morning. I was like, oh shoot, I've done this, and this, but I should probably put a shirt on before I go out the door. So these are, thanks Amy. So these are both the tops of vintagey clip-on earrings. You could use charms for this. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to use a bead. I have this cool kind of stamped tin bead, and then I'm going to find something from my little vintage box that I can use as a pendant on the other side. So the cool thing about this is when you subtract my talking from this project, it's literally, as long as you have the stuff handy, it's literally like a 10-minute project, which at this point in the holiday season is, of course, a blessing to all involved. Okay, so I need a vintagey thing. I think I might grab another piece of this vintagey necklace that I used last night for my tutorial. Hi Lori! Sorry I'm so late. Did y'all survive your overnight stupid low temperatures? I do have a couch if you and Turbo want to come and hang out in Texas, but a couch is all I have, so it's, you know, if anybody other than you and Turbo come, y'all are just gonna have to, like, you know, pile onto the couch, which pulls out to a 1.5 bed. Also, I did spend another night in the closet last night, and I am a little bit sore from that. Oof. Okay, so I'm gonna take, this is exactly the same piece. This is the other side of the necklace that I used last night for the assemblage necklace. So once again, it's got 2 attachments. It's got one back there and it's got one here. This is the one that I'm going to hang, and this is the one that's going to go away. So we're just going to cut that off, and then I'm going to grab my nutmeg file, and I'm just going to file that down flat, because even though this is not a piece of jewelry to be worn, this is, you know, a bookmark, you still don't want it to be stabby. So again, literally anything you have can go on the end of your bookmark. So going back to what we talked about last night with the assemblage necklace, you know, if you have random bits of costume jewelry that are sentimental from family members, this is a great, and you have family members who don't wear jewelry, this is a great project for them. Random bits and pieces that you've been collecting for years because you think they're cool and you have no idea what to do with them, this is a great project for that. You know, that extra odd bead or two that you have lying around from an old project, you know, that you didn't use all your beads from, great project for that. And again, super duper simple. So what do you need? You're gonna need 2 things, one for each end. So I'm gonna do this cool vintagey component, and then I've got a bead because I do want to show y'all how to do a bead if that's something that appeals to you. And you're gonna need and then you're gonna need some ribbon, anything that is around the width of 3/4 to 3/4 to 1 inch wide is gonna work. And then your main components that are gonna make this all work. Hey, Ace's Closet, welcome to the stream. You're gonna need 2 ribbon ends, and ideally you want to match your ribbon ends as closely as possible to the width of your ribbon. Maybe, yes, no, yes. Okay, so of course, you know, life doesn't always function the way that you want it to, so the ones I used on my sample are a little bit narrower than my ribbon. These are actually a much better match to the width of my ribbon, so I've got a little bit of a wider ribbon end that I'm using today. So these are 1 inch wide ribbon ends to go with my 1 inch wide ribbon. If you're using a charm or 2, you need a jump ring, and just like last night, we want heavy gauge jump rings, 6mm, a good size, 1 for each charm. So if you're using 2 charms, like I did on my sample here, you need 2 jump rings. Now sometimes you also need to things and stuff. I was wondering if that was also ASO. I do, there we go. I'm like, I do not have the brain cells at this point in the holiday season to like keep track of anything. I was just at Jalen and like Tara and Donna, the manager and the owner's wife, who are both extremely intelligent women, very capable, were like standing there trying to figure out how to wrap a package, and it's like, it's just the time of year where it's like everyone is stupid. Yeah. We're all just, like I said, I think last night at least 40% dumber than we normally are. Like, but it was hilarious because I was just standing there going, oh my god, I'm so happy I'm not the only one who needs you know, a 5-step manual to wrap a Christmas present at this point. So anyway, if you're using a bead or beads, you're going to need a head pin or head pins to put your beads on. So basically what you need supplies wise is, if you're using for any charm you're using, you need a jump ring. For any bead you're using, you need a head pin, you need ribbon, you need 2 ribbon ends. As far as tools go, you're going to need, if you're just using jump rings and charms, you're just going to need your chain nose or flat nose and your wire cutters. If you are using a bead and a head pin, or 2 beads and a head pin, you're also going to need your round nose, which are the round pointy ones. And one tool that's really helpful in this, especially if you don't want to drag out your full-on clothes iron, is a flat iron. Yes, this is literally a travel hair straightening flat iron, because what I'm going to do first is I'm going to take my ribbon and I'm going to iron it with my flat iron. So as far as size of ribbon, you want to take your book. I have, let's see, my book is Webster's Collegiate Thesaurus. Yay. Edition from 1976.
I remember that year.
So obviously I'm giving this to somebody who likes words. It's actually, this is just one of my favorite display props because it's a nice, like, hefty book that I can put jewelry and things on. So you want to make your bookmark probably about, you know, 2 to 3 inches longer than your book, because you don't want massive amounts of ribbon kind of flopping out of your book. That's not really, you know, helpful or convenient for anybody. And 12 inches, if you don't know the size of the book, is a good just kind of median. And I'm going to prove that right now by the fact that this book is 10 inches long. So add 2 inches and you've got 12 inches. So I'm going to cut 12 inches of my ribbon. Now you can use any ribbon that you have that's pretty. If you're a fiber junkie like I am and you collect pretty ribbons, but you also are not the most affluent person on the planet, so you collect small amounts of pretty ribbons, this is a really good project to use up all those little bits of pretty ribbons, and also to justify buying, you know, a yard of ribbon at your local fabric store, because you can make 3 bookmarks from that. So I'm going to cut 12 inches of ribbon, and then I'm going to take my flat iron and I'm going to iron it. Now, could you do this with a regular iron? Of course you could. This is just the cheater method. So you just want to make it as flat as you can. So obviously if you're doing a lot of these, a proper iron is going to be a better choice for this. But if you're just doing one, and say your straightening iron lives in the drawer in your bathroom and your iron lives behind the towels and 17 different types of laundry detergent in the closets that are above your washer and dryer that have 2 baskets of laundry in front of them waiting to be washed, there's a solid chance it might be easier to get to your straight iron, or your flat iron, than your iron for clothes. Not that I'm speaking from personal experience or anything. Hypothetically speaking, I'm talking about a friend.
Of course.
Yeah, totally. Totally talking about a friend, not myself at all in any way, shape, or form, except for the fact that, of course, it's totally myself that I'm talking about. So, either way, it'll get the job done. If you are using a proper iron, like a flat iron, and honestly, if you're using a really good flat iron that has temperature settings, start with the lower temperature settings, because you never quite know unless you actually have the spool with you, which I obviously don't. I bought this bulk, I don't even know how many years ago. You never quite know the fiber content of your ribbon, and if you start with too high of a temperature, you might melt it. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and put the ribbon ends on, and this is literally exactly as easy as you think it might be. Okay, your ribbon ends have these little kind of, you know, shark jaw bits to them, and so we're just going to take, and if you want, you can put some fray check or something on the end of this. I usually don't bother. If you want to be extra fancy, you could double fold this and stitch it, or you could double fold it and clamp it in your straight iron, your flat iron. So you can also double fold it, clamp it in your flat iron, and that'll make that'll make some nice little creases in it, and it'll give you a little bit more of a finished edge. So that's really up to you. Again, this is if you want to be fancy. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this, just putting your ribbon end straight on the end of your ribbon, especially since it's going to be a bookmark. Like, it's not going to be a garment that's going to be worn. But however you want to do it, I'm going to go ahead and turn that back on, because since I did it on one side, I got to do it on the other side. Just put my little shark bait jaws onto my ribbon and then squish it flat. I'm just going to take my flat nose pliers, start in the center, and so the way that these work is your little claws should actually catch your ribbon. And this is one reason why I don't always love doing the double fold thing, because then you get this sort of weird bit at the back. Again, it's totally up to you. At this point in the holiday season, if you're in a crunch, I say do as few steps as possible. Okay, so why am I frozen? There we go. Unfrozen. I was frozen for a minute there. Okay, so there's one side. Now I'm going to do the other side. Since I did the double fold on the first side, I have to do it on the second side as well, otherwise it's not going to look the same. So I'm going to double fold that over. And grab my flat iron and just clamp that in there. Also, if you're in a desperate situation, your flat iron's also a good way to iron your collar. It will absolutely catch the ribbon with one layer, Amy, 100%. Like this is only one layer, and it is on there. It's on there really securely. So you don't need to worry about double folding it unless you're just that kind of crazy. I'm a different kind of crazy. I'm the kind of crazy that sleeps in the closet with the cat. Because right now I'm really wishing I hadn't done this. There we go. Okay, and then you're going to take your ribbon end and pop that onto the end of your ribbon. Just make sure that it's aligned and centered. And ideally what you want, and I didn't do a good job of this at all, is you want to make sure that you're catching that second, if you decided to do this. And again, this is why I say I am not necessarily this kind of crazy. You do want to make sure that it's catching that second layer, because otherwise it's going to just flop out and look untidy. Nobody wants an untidy bookmark, right? Okay, so I just trimmed it off, and I'm going to re-iron it. So when you're doing this, if you are doing this double fold method, just make sure that you know that this first layer is folded all the way up so that the ribbon end will catch it and hold it in place. Using pinking shears to cut would keep it from fraying? Absolutely. Well, and honestly, again, it's not a garment, so if you can literally just cut it and it'll be fine. I'm just doing the, once again, if you're fancy method of preparation for the bookmark. So put your, you really don't have to, like you can literally just cut it, put your ribbon end on, and that's all that you need. Also, for anybody who may be, oh, I don't know, Mary, making bookmarks at work, you can always make the bookmarks and then iron the ribbon later when you get home. Just if you don't have a flat iron at work like I do. So I have an iron at work, actually. So there's that. So that's the front side, that's the back side. I did not do a fantastic job of centering that, but we're just going to go ahead and go with it. Now, if this were actually something that I was making for a client or giving as a gift, what I would probably do is I would just cut that off, grab a new ribbon end, and I would do it again. But so this is the base, and I'm going to say I'm not a huge fan of double folding it because you have this weird bit in the back. So one wonders what happens if you cut it off. Okay, I like that better. So I cut it off, so what I have is a, you know, more of a finished edge on the front, and I don't have that big floppy bit on the back. I feel like that process just may not be worth it. So again, I'm saying if you're doing this last minute, just cut the ends, put the ribbon ends on. That's really all you need to do. Apparently also, if you're me, you need to throw it on the floor because it's that time of year. Okay, so now we're going to add the stuff onto it. So the little vintage bit is definitely super easy. I'm just going to add that with a jump ring. So I've got my 6mm, jump ring here, 6mm 20 gauge jump ring. I believe the ribbon ends, Amy, are either 75 cents or $1.25 each. I can't quite remember. But I can text that to you later. Open your jump ring up, attach through your piece, attach onto your ribbon end. That's what that little receptacle there is there for. Close that up. Again, make sure that your jump ring is completely closed. Voila, I have plenty, Amy. I have a gracious plenty of ribbon ends in both silver and gold. If you're going to do a bead, okay, I will, at the end of, when I'm done putting this together, I'll grab the drawer and I will let you guys know. Alright, if you're going to do a bead, you're going to put a head pin through the bead. There we go. It's a fun gift, and especially because it's so easy, and then if you're giving a book as a gift, it's a really great add-on to that. Okay, so then I've got my head pin through my bead, I've got my round nose pliers. This is a basic wire wrap loop. We did a bunch of these last night. Away, rotate, back up over the top, rotate, underneath. There we go, that's our lady with the scarf. We could either wrap that closed and attach it with a jump ring for continuity so it looks the same as the other side, or we could take that and just thread it through your ribbon end like so. Oh, this is a good stream for that. Does anybody have book recommendations for gifts? Let's see, I am giving my father a copy of, for Christmas, a copy of Gastro Obscura, which is from the Atlas Obscura people, about basically interesting and unconventional foods from around the world. And then for his birthday, I'm giving him a copy of Ratio, which is a book that combines cooking and math. And that, if there's anything in the world that's more my father than something that combines cooking and math, I don't know what it is. Alright, so now I've got that threaded on my little attachment point on my ribbon end. I'm going to hold across it. I'm going to use my round nose pliers because there's not much space there, and then I'm just going to wrap down. So start at the base of the loop and wrap down until you've reached the bead. And then, you know, with this bookmark thing, you could go, you could go thematic, you could do themed charms, you could custom stamp a disc that you would add onto this. Like, there's so much potential for just, or you can just use random pretty things. Like, there's so much potential. You could do birthstones. Exactly, Amy, that's a great idea. So much potential for doing cool stuff with this, and again, super easy. Like, again, if you remove my talking from this tutorial, you know, once you find the pieces you're going to use, it's literally a 10-minute project. So there we go. That's our ribbon bookmark. So let's see what word do I want to mark in my thesaurus. Okay. I'm gonna go with half-assed is what happened when I opened the thesaurus. So we're gonna go ahead and mark that, because that's definitely how I feel at this time of year. And so that'll just lay in there, and there you go. So there's side 1, and there's side 2. So that's it. Thank you all so much for being patient with me and still showing up for my almost 1 hour late tutorial. I'm Allison from Beading Dreams in Dallas, Texas. We're gonna have another tutorial tonight. Not a Torch Thursday tutorial, but another, then the final in our series of last minute holiday tutorials. That's going to be this, which is our string of lights earrings. This is a wire wrapping tutorial, so I'll be back with that tonight around 6 p.m., assuming that I'm still standing at that point in my day. So everyone have a great rest of your Thursday afternoon, and I'll see y'all back on this channel, twitch.tv/beadingdream. Yay! We may have it sounds like we may have an in-person. Oh, I need to get you the price on the ribbon end. So hold on. Hold that thought. Don't go away yet. Talk to Ziggy. I was completely non-correct about the price of ribbon ends. The size that I'm using is 50 cents each, so $1 a pair. So if anybody wants to add ribbon ends to an existing order that you have from the live sale last night, or make an order for ribbon ends, just go ahead and type it. I'll leave the stream up so that you can type in the comments for a couple of minutes, and then I'll make sure to add those to your boxes from last night. So everyone have a great Thursday evening, and I will see you all back on this channel, twitch.tv/beading this evening around 6 p.m. All right, 10 each of silver and gold for Lori, got it. This evening around 6 p.m. for that string of lights earring tutorial, again, assuming I'm still standing by that point in my workday. All right, everyone have a great afternoon. We'll see you later. Bye.